after somehow managing to take first place in the International Jiu-Jitsu Championship. Go Sang-won earns himself the title of World Champion of Jiu-Jitsu, though he isn't all that proud of his victory, at least not after being overpowered by his enemy. The only reason he landed first place is because he endured his challenger for the final 10 seconds, like a pathetic loser instead of fighting back. Besides this hobby, he also works as a construction worker, operating excavators and heavy machinery. It's not the highest paying job out there, but it's more than enough to support his wife, his daughter, and himself. It's all thanks to his brother-in-law, who showed a little nepotism and helped our boy land this job. He's thoroughly satisfied with the way his life is going. His sweet daughter never fails to put a smile on his face. And let's not forget the wonderful wife he's got. His life is too perfect to be true, and he's completely satisfied with it. What more could a man ask from life when things are already going this perfectly? But one day, everything changes. They go to sleep just like every day, but wake up in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. He fights off these damned zombies that just popped up out of nowhere. After neutralizing the immediate threat by defeating 2 of them, he holds his daughter close. The unusual part about all this is that he's currently inside a department store with his daughter Mina, even though he was sleeping with his wife back in their apartment. He has no recollection of what happened or how he ended up here, but he doesn't have much time to mull over recent events, cause he's surrounded by brainless fools hungry for human flesh. He dashes through the building, zombies chasing right behind him. The exit door is right in front of him, and after getting through, he immediately slams it shut. He locks the door and then drags a huge-ass couch in front of it to ease their tense minds a bit. They spot a soldier sitting there armed with a big rifle. As they get acquainted, Huan explains his situation, how he has no memory of the events that led to this zombie apocalypse. The soldier summarizes things for him, explaining that almost 80% of humanity has turned into flesh-eating monsters. Sung-won insists the soldier let him borrow a transmission device. He's sick with worry about his wife and wants to contact her. Well, it's not like the soldier can just use his phone to call anyone. He needs satellite communication equipment, which is why they've got to head up to the top floor. It's the only way they'll be able to reach the military base. Song-won requests the soldier to let him use the satellite communication device just once so he can be reassured about his wife's well-being. The soldier agrees, but not before making our boy beg for it on purpose. When they reach the rooftop, Sung-won puts his ear against the gate to check for any zombie presence on the other side. The soldier, however, isn't afraid even if there are zombies. He's got a goddamn AK-47. He insists Sung-won open the door, pointing out his injured leg, which limits his mobility. While our boy falls for this dickhead's words, the little girl can sense something's off. This stinky soldier doesn't seem trustworthy, but her father tells her to hide behind the soldier anyway, despite her protests. He then cracks the door open slightly and peeks through it, only to find a full-blown squad of zombies having a rooftop party. That snake of a soldier finally reveals his true intentions by fatally shooting our dude in the stomach. The bastard has the audacity to smirk after shooting an unarmed civilian like that. Sung-won lunges at him before he could take a second shot. He executes a slick jiu-jitsu move and overpowers him instantly. But all that ninja karate business goes straight out the damn window when your opponent is holding a literal gun, who doesn't hesitate to shoot Sung-won in the leg again. Our guy loses grip on the bastard, which gives the bastard the perfect opportunity to put safe distance between them. And just like that, the mighty international jiu-jitsu champion is reduced to a pathetic mess, taken down by a malnourished, scrawny lizard of a man. After taking a bunch of shots, Sung-won topples over that bastard, grabs the girl, and locks him on the other side of the door. The zombies start closing in on our boy from every direction. Then from the other side of the door, the soldier reveals the twisted reason behind his betrayal. You see, for some unknown reason, children are immune to the virus affecting everyone else. And because of that, kids are being traded at ridiculously high prices on the black market. Basically, humans are no better than these damn monsters in this era. Or maybe humans had always been the monsters. Those words hit hard, especially as our guy is about to get slaughtered by zombies. His death isn't just a tragedy. It's an elaborate murder, the murder of a jiu-jitsu champion. Eventually the zombies swarm him, and just when it seems like he's done for, he miraculously emerges from the pile, pushing those nimble-brained creatures aside. Not only that, he literally slices through those bastards. With a single swing of his hand, he walks to the edge of the roof, eyes locked on the bastard who took his precious daughter. Something about him has changed forever. Possessing Kaniki's Kakagon, eye from Tokyo Ghoul, this man stares down at the freak who kidnapped his daughter. The moment Saiwan spots his beloved daughter, he gets rid of all his human limitations by stepping over the ledge, like a father who would do anything for their daughter. He leaps from above. The soldiers below are confused, unable to comprehend if the falling objects up ahead are the infected or not. The creepy fuck is shocked, while his friend talks about how it's strange to see an infected creature to try and kill themselves. Little do they know it's not a bird or a plane. It's man. It's man Sung-won drills his arms into the nearby walls, stopping his momentum as much as he physically can with his inhuman strength, despite having tried his absolute best. The fall is heavy and makes for a loud crash. For once, I'm just glad to see that there's a hint of physics in a story. Anyway, with a fall like that, the creepy soldier, as well as the ugly infected, are all starting to think that the infected wouldn't have survived that. But only a moment later, their faces turn to shock. Hilariously, if you guys can see in the background, the other soldier is getting chomped by the zombie, and he still doesn't care. Let's turn to the reason for their attention and astonishment. It's our boy, running at an immense speed while roaring for his daughter's name. The second the creepy scumbag hears him, he realizes he absolutely fudged up with the wrong dad. Sung-hoon continues to stride ahead. Meanwhile, Skin Diana Bones over here tries to use what little of his gun to shoot down the approaching zombie. But honestly, the guy has so much of a stormtrooper aim that apparently he can't hit a guy running in a straight line. Not even once, for that matter. Bro thinks he's going to get at least one shot in, but it's pointless. And even his friend insults him for having such shitty aim that he shouldn't even try. Instead, another soldier is assigned the task of shooting down the zombie. The man takes his aim, and I guess they went from stormtrooper aim to aimbot aim, because this guy only fires once, and it brutally connects with Shang Huan's shin. Unfortunately, having been shot at such a vulnerable area, it breaks his speed, but his fatherly persistence still remains far too strong. At this point, even the soldiers are starting to wonder if there's an infected out there more determined and stubborn than this one. It's a first experience for them. But every time Mina screams her father's name, Sung-hwan rages on ahead, ignoring his pain just to get to his daughter, while the corporal is holding Mina down. The other guy locks aim once again. Only this time he becomes John Wick and connects a critical headshot. The force from the impact is enough to recoil Sung-hwan's head. But make no goddamn mistake, he's not going to hell until he secures his daughter's safety. Realizing that bullets are practically fodder against this zombie, the soldiers decide to throw out a grenade, knowing that it's going to do a considerable amount of damage. Shang Huan is running so fast that he doesn't care about the approaching grenade, which detonates right up in his damn face, raising an explosive cloud of smoke. To Mina, this is the worst sight imaginable, seeing her father get killed right before her eyes. As the little girl reaches her hand in helplessness, she weeps silently as the vehicle moves further away. The scene cuts to Sung-hwan, who has clearly sustained brutal injuries, starting off with his right arm completely torn off and his abdomen spooling out blood. But even in his dying thoughts, the only thing he could think about is his daughter. It doesn't take a while for a bunch of infected to come surround his destroyed body, hoping to finish off what's left of him. They stare down at their meal, while the persistent Sung Hwan's body trembles in stress. But here's the thing, this isn't fear, but rather an evolution. Remember that lost arm. Our boy's body simply gives him a fresh one, right after losing the old bro. Ended up getting Piccolo's Namekian regeneration from Dragon Ball Z. The infected are shocked to see his recovering state, while Saiwan clutches onto his fist. The scene cuts to a sweet moment between the loving father and his daughter. remembering that he promised Mina he would play with her. Even his daughter knew that her father never went back on his word. The sweet dream sequence ends as Sung-hwan regains consciousness. His body is spotless, as if nothing even happened to him. He quivers in confusion, questioning what happened, staring down at his arms, which appear fully healed. Then he turns to the man right next to him, who questions if Sung-hwan's back to normal. This man understands that our boy suffered immense pain at the hands of the humans, which is why he brought him back to his place to help him recover. Though the man appears to be infected, he seems to have the ability to talk, and even promises Sung-hwan that he doesn't have anything to worry about. They're actually on a raft, and the man is waiting to catch some fish, even inviting our boy to do the same. But of course Sung-hwan is hesitant and suspicious, grabbing the infected zombie's clothes. The old dude takes it as a sign of aggression and thinks that maybe Sung-hwan has lost his mind to attack him. Thanks to our boy's incredible background in jiu-jitsu, he easily folds this guy in an arm-lock position, forcing him into a world of pain. Hilariously, Sung-hwan doesn't stop there. Bro gets up again and stomps on the infected dude, the same guy who literally just helped him out. It finally dawns on Sung-hwan that this infected is capable of speech, but that's not the full story. It's not that this one can talk. It's that our boy now possesses to understand others of his kind. By the way, remember when I said they were out to fish? Turns out to be even funnier because in the next scene, they're in a damn swimming pool. So basically this old dude is just crazy anyway. Sung-hwan wastes no time explaining everything to him, and the guy is shocked to hear that our boy is capable of maintaining all of his memories before he became infected. The worried father doesn't want to waste more time and begs to know directions to the nearest military base. The good thing is that it's easy to find, as the intersection up ahead shows directions for it. Sung-hwan is eternally grateful to his help and apologizes for shattering the guy's arm. This makes the old guy emphasize one critical misunderstanding. In Sung-hwan's view, it's the fact that none of the other infected can heal as capably as him. Instead, they're forever stuck in their miserable state, even after they are torn apart. And well, that's sad, because our boy just turned this guy's arm into a damn noodle. He looks away in guilt while the old dude explains that Jin-Ho might be the first person ever to retain his human memories, because none of the infected are like that, though they once walked a line of humanity. No longer is it the case, as they've stepped beyond it. The old dude points out that not only does Sung-hwan boast an incredibly fast regenerating factor, but he also has his previous memories, indicating that he's quite literally built differently. Instead of glazing himself any further, Sung-hwan places urgency to leave for his daughter's sake. The mere mention of his daughter makes the infected truly beg the question, is Sung-hwan really even an infected after all? If he is a human, that makes it hard to trust him, because the infected naturally fear them to be a threat. The old dude can't help him out, simply because he doesn't want to kill more of his own kind. In other words, the other infected. However, the fact that Sung-hwan literally attempted to beat his ass shows one thing to him. It's that our boy is more of a human than he is a zombie. Realizing that he's all on his own for this one, Sung-hwan sits down and requests the way across. But the old man makes one final offer, tempting the guy to forget about his daughter's safety and just live out his days with the rest. Without a hesitation, the man rejects such an offer. Once again, the old dude analyzes that Sung-hoon's human empathy and need for his daughter could be the cause of his own undoing, and could result in the destruction of the infected. Unfortunately, his answer doesn't please the old man, who deems him far too much of a threat, and declares that Sung-hwan must be killed immediately. But our boy is quick on the draw, believing it's pointless to argue as he leaps into the water, believing he can swim his way across. But here's the problem: the moment he emerges from the water, bro is stunned all this time. The water was full of the other infected waiting to make their move, and now that they've got a clear signal, they plan to kill him while they've got him surrounded. Sung-hwan analyzes his surroundings, not knowing that one of the infected is slowly creeping up from behind. The freak show lunges to grab him, and he actually successfully manages to take him down. The old dude regrets that Sung-hwan made a terrible choice in the end, refusing to support his own kind and ensuring his own demise. But then he is astonished to see the conclusion. Our boy isn't in danger, he is the danger. Remember that sneaky loser who attacked him. Yeah, bro's gonna miss his head being attached to his body, channeling his love for his daughter. Sung-hwan makes his point loud and clear, while smashing the creature's head. If anyone dares to get in his way to save his daughter, he's gonna kill them. All the ugly bastards approach the handsome daddy, while he crushes the literal brains of one of their kind. The infected genuinely feel so damn intimidated by his glare, but his aura alone causes them to go back to eat fish in the pool. With those guys done, Sung-hoon turns to look at the old square-headed clown, who is disappointed at first, but starts to nervously laugh, finding the situation amusing. Our boy is in the mood to rip off his other arm too, to make things, even if anything. The old dude emphasizes that if Sung-hwan tries to rush things out, he might not be able to save his daughter. Hilariously, it turns out that our boy stole his clothes as punishment, and is even using one of the infected as his chair. He really made them all his bitches without even trying. The infected are out here parading in front of Sung-hwan, who learns from the old dude that it's best not to aim for the military base directly. Apparently, there's supposed to be some dangerous figure in the base that could pose a problem. While they're talking, the zombies are out here facing existential dread, but even then they don't want to end up having the same fate as their captain's broken arm. So while they're goofing around, Sung-hoon inquires more about the dangerous guy. One particularly brave, yet stupid, zombie tries to catch our boy off guard by running straight at him. Sung-hoon doesn't even get up and kicks him down, stomping on him, and wondering if he should increase the punishment to something, even beyond underwater ballet dancing. He also thinks it's pretty stupid for this zombie to openly come running for him, as if that was going to make a difference. The captain explains that not every infected shares the same level of intelligence, basically. They're dumb as hell, however. There are some infected who can follow orders with perfect execution, like the captain, but when it comes to most of the infected, they're reduced to their instincts and hunger alone. These guys don't even care and foolishly attack their own kind. They're dumber than a goldfish. But also the captain suspects that they're drawn to Sung-hwan, probably because of his human scent. Our boy says nothing in response and simply looks at the old geezer, who quivers in fear and begs to be trusted one last time. Back to the main topic of their discussion. He wants to give Sung-hoon a second route, instead of attacking the base directly. But our boy doesn't give a damn, and leaves with the chilling note that anyone who stands in the way of him getting to his daughter will be mercilessly executed by his hands. As he's leaving the base, he meets a bunch of infected, but these guys don't even look for a fight, because Sung-hwan deals with them by basically telling them to fudge off. On his way out, he encounters something strange, an oversized gorilla one that is abnormal from all the others, as it is chomping down on human limbs like they're a treat. Sung-hwan remembers the old dude's words. Remember when he said that there was someone dangerous? Apparently, it's this damn evil gorilla. The creature tries to communicate its point, warning Sung-hwan not to tread upon its territory, so being the diplomatic man he is. Our boy beautifully responds with a palm strike in its face, hitting it so hard that the creature crashes to the ground. Sung-hwan communicates the politest way of saying F off in his own way. In the next scene, we get to see a bunch of infected having a dance party at the club. They really are different from other zombies for goofing around so much. One guy goes all bats-it crazy and starts swinging his moves. Pink Trunks are out here twerking his butt off. And he's out here enjoying every second of it. I bet you didn't expect that from a zombie apocalypse story. Did you now? The party is crushed. Literally. When the angry gorilla smashes Sung-hwan's body against the walls and rages on ahead, crushing the infected in his path. Our boy is genuinely getting his ass kicked as he's slammed into the wall, and with a single punch gets his perfect teeth all knocked out. The gorilla aims to pulverize his face with this next attack, while all Sung-hwan could think about was a blog. He read up on defeating a wild animal. In that blog, he learned how to apply jiu-jitsu techniques on a gorilla-sized creature by smartly maneuvering one's body against the creature's size and eventually going for a rear choke. However, that shit isn't working here at all, because Sung-hwan is getting beat. Black and blue the wall utterly decimates, as the psychotic and beastly creature smacks our boy all over and around. With every punch, Sung-hoon is reminded of the old dude's words. that he possesses a godlike healing factor. Unlike the others, the gorilla demolished him into the ground. But this is exactly the position the former jiu-jitsu champion was looking for, knowing that the rest of the infected are vulnerable and can't heal the same. Song-hoon locks in on the creature's arm, knowing that once he shatters it, it won't ever pose a problem to him. With what's left of his strength, he puts everything into this one decisive move, and instead of just breaking the gorilla's arm, this man chops it right off from the bone. The arm is sent flying while the gorilla experiences anguish and shock, unable to comprehend what happened. A victorious Song Quan looms over his defeated state, staring at the beast, who is grunting heavily as if to say that it wants to fight even more. But it's not like our boy is afraid of round two, as he prepares himself to stretch and cause more pain. But then his eyes darted to glance at something. Two little children are squealing and hurry to protect their guardian. They hug the gorilla, and the scene achieves an emotional reaction from Sung-hoon. You see, just like this gorilla, he is reminded of his true mission to protect his family. So instead of killing the creature, off he rushes back at full speed. In the next scene, he's already arrived at the military base, assuring himself that everything will be okay, as long as he can find his daughter. From the looks of it, 2 guards are placed outside, and it's plausible for one to be inside. This means that the smarter approach would be to climb his way, undetected. So, our creative jiu-jitsu master chucks an infected creature at the top of the barbed wire, and by using his body as an anchor, Bro casually makes his way in unharmed. The soldiers start to look around for the noise, and while they're distracted to find the infected on the wire, it gives our boy the opportunity to go for a sneaky chokehold, threatening to end the man's life. If he doesn't reveal information about Lee Young-ho, the guy is choking out, refusing to give in, and attempting to fire his gun. At first, Xiong-hwan reminds him that the gun will never reach him, but the soldier fires anyway, which is a big problem, since the gunshots might attract the other soldier's attention. Letting him go, Xiong-hwan awaits his response. The stubborn soldier curses our boy out. But the only thing that's racing through the father's mind right now is the beloved sight of his beautiful daughter, as well as his gorgeous wife. Like I said, the gunshot noise attracts the soldiers, and they quickly gang up on the infected to seize him at once. But what they don't realize is that at this moment, Song-hwan's blood boils in fury. He directs his anger towards the scumbags, who took away the 2 people he loves most, while these soldiers quiver in fear. With insane speed, Song-hwan is able to grab one of them from the group and smashes his face against the floor. He tightens his grip so hard around the guy's neck that his eyes are about to pop out. But I guess this is just the average wet dream for the fangirls who follow hot. Male leads can't say the same for this soldier, though. Brothers having it rough as a demon stares him down, demands his daughter to be freed at once. With the soldier pinned down, Shangwan roars for his daughter's name. During this moment, one of the soldiers quickly creeps up to hold him at gunpoint, questioning why the man is recklessly trying to look for his daughter. Here of all places, our boy gets up nicely, explaining how the man he just downed kidnapped his daughter and brought her all the way here. Naturally, he's here to retrieve what he lost from the look of his right eye. The soldier concerningly asks if Song-hwan is even human anymore. To that, our boy is reminded of the same question the old captain of the infected asked him. Just what is he if not one or the other? Well, Xiong-hwan no longer cares about an answer, and simply upholds his demands to retrieve his daughter. Once again, the soldier holds distrust, and doesn't really have a reason to believe in the man's words. With his temper flaring up, Shang-wan recalls the grueling last words of the creepy scumbag, who threatened to sell his daughter for cash. But to the captain, none of this makes any sense. As he stands baffled, the creepy scumbag is shaking in fear, while Sung-hwan adds proof to his words by requesting the captain to check for his dog tag. It's not there specifically because he took it during their fight. Anyway, the soldier frantically gets up to get on his commander's sweet spot, reminding their leader that this man attacked their base and infiltrated it, quickly rushing to grab his gun. The loser tries to shoot his weapon, only to realize that his gun won't shoot. The commander grabs his weapon away from him, disappointed that a sergeant of all people is helpless when it comes to dealing with his own weapon. The dude was trying to fire, without even noticing the gun safety trigger being on. Not just that, the very fact that this reckless idiot tried to open fire in a field full of his own allies shows his stupidity. Meanwhile, a private soldier quickly issues a report to the commander, expressing their confirmation about Lee Young-ho's situation. They saw him return with a small girl earlier, something that Shang Huan confirms right away, begging to see his daughter. As he lets his emotions get the better of him, the soldier ushers him to calm down, explaining that the fraudster sergeant falsely reported that he was going to take the girl to her family. Hearing this, Shang Huan roars in denial, informing the soldiers that he is the father. The soldier offers a solution, believing that going with the sergeant would be wise, as he'll take him back to his daughter. But then Lee Byung-ho completely goes ballistic and orders his soldiers to kill the man at once, turning his attention back to the scumbag. Song Hwan prepares himself to tear him apart. Commander interjects and reminds him that they're trying to help him out by listening to him, because if he doesn't cooperate with them, he'll only delay reuniting with his daughter also. The commander is starting to get a good grasp of the situation and realizes what must be done at once. He calls forth for the men who followed the sergeant in their operation for the day. The two soldiers who stepped forward quickly testify that Suman's words are true, and they discover and rescue a girl from the store, not knowing the background of what happened. Not even the commander came to know of this report, as apparently the lousy sergeant wanted to handle this matter all on his own, without bringing the girl back to base. But that's not all. It appears that the sergeant has done the same multiple times, without lending a word of it back to base. Hearing this, the disgusting pile of filth acts like he's doing his job by being proactive about the situation. However, the commander quickly humbles him by asking why he refused to report anything. Back to base, the sergeant fully combusts in his emotions this time, acting like Suman is scheming to accuse his superior, while he's bitching about Shong Huan does everyone a favor by chucking his fist in his damn mouth, launching him to the ground and ending his yapping streak, with the guy completely knocked out. The scene cuts to our boy getting a full body strip check, looking beefy as hell. The soldier admires Song Hoon's unique composition for not even having a single wound. The soldier apologizes for going to this extent, but explains that they have no choice but to conduct full body checks to ensure there aren't any bites. Jong Hoon is also handed an eye patch to cover his strange eye for the time being, even though he rejects it at first, stating that his eye is fully functional. The soldier expresses that if he reveals the eye to everyone, then people might jump to attack him. It's surprising already that no one has done that to him, understanding where this is headed. Our boy accepts it and continues his walk with the soldier. He learns that the search operation for his daughter is soon to begin, right after Lee Young-ho faces trial, though our boy is suspicious of Suman for being involved with the sergeant. He thinks saving his daughter is more of a pressing matter right now, right as he's asking about the details of the trail. The both of them hear gunshot noises and quickly stand down. From the windows, Suman learns that apparently Lee Young-ho has gone crazy, and he's tossing out grenades to kill everyone. This is strange, because the sergeant should be knocked out in the infirmary. But then it clicks. Suman spots a vehicle racing at full speed to exit the base. Our boy wastes no time and crashes out of the window, sticking his landing as he spots the sergeant, making his escape with the fastest speed he possibly can. Shangwan chases the man, knowing that this time he cannot fail to lose his daughter. One of the soldiers quickly caught up to him thanks to their bike. Suman assures the guy to stay back at base, but instead of listening to his command, our boy hops onto his bike, begging Suman to step on the gas pedal without looking back. Suman emphasizes that the bike will slow down with two people, but Song Hwan is hell-bent on involving himself on this mission. The radio transmission pops up for an official statement from the commander. Suman expresses the situation going on and how he's in hot pursuit of Lee Byung-ho, right as the commander is issuing an order. The transmission starts cutting out. The signals turn into static, while Suman heeds his instruction and goes on full pursuit to stop the sergeant, growing closer and closer. Suman asks Yang Huan to shoot the car tires, using the rifle on his back. Taking aim at once, our boy locks down his shot. Unfortunately, he misses the first shot due to his inexperience. He assures Su-man that he won't miss a second time, instead of listening to Sung-hoon's command. The private soldier stops the bike and quickly takes aim to shoot down the car himself. Unfortunately, even he misses the car tires, and he stubbornly refuses to give Sung-won a chance to shoot. At last, the soldier connects his first shot with the vehicle's tire, causing it to skid around the turn. Thanks to this, they mount back onto the bike for an active pursuit, taking a sharp left to follow the general. But right as they're about to chase him, it appears that the piece of filth is already there, waiting for them with a grenade in hand. This guy chucks the grenade, but Su-man's godlike aim manages to pierce it midair, stopping their demise with the sergeant out of options. He is pathetically helpless, as our boy attempts to lunge on top of him for a finishing blow. But in a surprising plot twist, a van hits this guy with 1% of Truck Cohen's powers, delaying the sergeant's doom once again. Bandits come out of the car to save the filthy sergeant. Apparently these are the ones that are involved with the scandal, involving the children, unfortunately. Su-man fully understands that. There are far too many of them for them to take on alone. He considers his strategy. He could potentially fire warning shots and wait for reinforcements, or just prioritize his own action. The soldier grapples with reality, knowing that reinforcements won't come, and that Sung-hwan must have sustained a serious injury just now. His best chance right now is to fire down the tires of the van, and then find a place to hide. So he does exactly that, waiting behind his bike for the right opportunity. His plan is perfect in theory, except he forgot about one critical factor: zombies. Having made so much noise, Bro has attracted a large bunch of these guys right up in his damn face. The scene issues a quick flashback to the time where the soldiers were being briefed about the vulnerable spots of the infected. Handling the hordes of zombies is no joke, so they needed to be smart about dealing damage to the brain. Hitting them there will prevent movement, and if the person can successfully destroy the nerves in the cervical spine, that will kill the infected completely. However, the only way to escape a horde of these zombies is none other than a suicide attempt via the grenade. That's how despairing the situation has become for the loyal soldier. Clutching onto his grenade, Su-min trembles while still maintaining his courageous act. He wants to time the explosion right, when the zombies are most gathered around him, hoping that Shang-hwan can deal with the reason. But to his utter shock, for some reason, the infected quickly turn into dancing ballerinas. Bro is genuinely shocked and wonders what the actual flip is going on. Su-min thinks he's definitely gone insane at the fear of death, or some shit, because there's no way he's seeing these guys dance around like clowns, instead of eating his brains. An even more shocking observation is that the undead creatures appear to have expressions. But for what exactly? It's as if they're desperately trying to please something or someone. It's not a ritual, but rather it's done out of the fear of literal death. The infected are genuinely terrified, because they'd much rather stay in one piece, rather than get torn apart. And yes, the one piece is real, though they're dancing in a frenzy. Su-man finally spots the captain of the infected in the distance. This guy has come for our boy Sung-hwan, who is slowly getting up and is even more enraged than last time. The captain sees his bloodthirsty gaze and lowers his head in submission to offer respect to their superior. Meanwhile, Su-man is all confused, not knowing why the infected are suddenly withdrawing from the scene, instead of explaining anything to him. Seo-hwan recovers his eye patch and asks about the place. The soldier is starting to wonder if this guy has lost his memory, or some crap, so he gives a rundown of what happened with Lee Young-ho. Apparently, this revelation causes a ringing sense of agony in Sung-hoon's mind. All of his memories come flooding right back, as he recalls chasing the lunatic down. They were so damn close to catching him too. Su-min, on the other hand, spots a figure in the distance, but it's not an infected, but rather a woman and supposedly her daughter, begging to be saved, fast-forwarding ahead. Sung-hwan learns from the woman that they were attacked by a horde of infected. They're begging to be taken to a safe shelter. But of course our boy can't simply do that because of his own mission. The woman pleads, pointing out that she and the child won't be able to survive. Coming to terms with the situation, Our boy places their needs above his own and instructs Suman to take back both of them to shelter, while he's going to go on alone to find his daughter. It's a dangerous plan, because even Suman understands that it's not going to be an easy task. For that reason, Xianghwan requests to know everything about the van he saw, so that he can track it down. Suman talks about the exact details of the model, and highlights that all the men were wearing centipede tattoos. Again, he highlights the dangers of traveling alone. Suddenly, the woman speaks up and asks if those same men captured his daughter. When Songhwan confirms the fact, she dreadfully reveals that her very own child was also kidnapped by the same people, realizing that she might have some clues. He asks for any information that could help track them down. The woman also points out that it's possible that Mina is actually placed at the shelter house. Apparently, the whole point of buying and trafficking children is so that they can rescue them. In fact, she points out that just a few of them were bought the other day. Xianghwan breaks down and asks about his daughter, highlighting her pigtails and her pink sweatshirt as an example. Unfortunately, the woman has no idea, because the children often swap clothes in the shelter. She thinks it's a wise idea to check the shelter first, and then continue on with his mission. Song-hoon accepts the suggestion, though Suman emphasizes that he's risking himself by trusting a stranger's words. Then again, the word risk matters very little next to the safety of his daughter, even if it costs him a great deal of danger. So then the group decides to venture together to the shelter, arriving with the lady who introduces them. Apparently, there are some kind of entry procedures that have to be carried out. Well, it's the same as last time, being stripped naked hilariously. I think Songhwan is starting to get used to this at this point. Hilariously, the inspector is impressed by our boy's physique. At first, Song-hoon takes it as a compliment for being unharmed. But apparently, when he sees the old geezer flustered, bro is fucking devastated. He realizes that this old man is actually impressed about his 16 inches of venom. Anyway, the inspector wants to take off the eye patch from Xiongwan's face, but our boy grabs his hand, believing that they've done their part of following instructions. Unfortunately, this could become a real issue in Suman's view, because if he reveals his eye, there will be suspicion. Sungwon argues that he's already been strip-searched, so there shouldn't be any more doubts. The guy is so crazy that he puts a gun on Suman's head, stubbornly making his point to check the eye patch no matter what. But the old fart forgot that he's dealing with two young men, especially when one of them is a jiu-jitsu master. Xiongwan dismantles his ass to the ground, putting him in a position where he can no longer threaten anyone. The old geezer is at a loss for words and wonders what's going on. Tonghwan expresses that he is only reacting generously to being held at gunpoint. In fact, if he didn't cushion the fall there at the end, his skull would have been cracked. While this altercation is happening, the rest of the followers come out to seize the attackers. The old man emphasizes that there won't be any trouble so long as Xiongwan takes off his eye patch. His men threaten to shoot Xiongwan's ass if he doesn't comply, once again reminding him that the only way out of this mess is to take off his eye patch. Now that three old men are staring him down with a shotgun in hand, Xiongwan fully understands that he can make the best use of his godlike regeneration to subdue them all. But the problem is then he'll be exposed as an infected person, and he doesn't want that, so he waits, nervous for a miracle at last. The miracle arrives in the form of the woman who brought them here. She reminds the old geezers that this man saved her life. The captain of the old geezers is adamant on the blindfold exposure. In the end, our boy decides to concede and takes it off. But with a twist, you see, he does take it off, but he doesn't open his eyes, claiming that he lost it in an accident. Now that's smart as hell, and he even acts like it's his insecurity, which is why he defended it so harshly. The old geezer is disappointed, because all of this could have been avoided if he said so from the start. In any case, Songhwan just wants to see Mina, but the old geezer is pissed off and expresses that the children are sleeping and shouldn't be disturbed with them gone. The lady apologizes on his behalf, explaining that the old man is a stubborn hard ass and likes to do things his own way. Well, Song-hoon understands that. He clearly could have managed that situation better too, following their instructions. He intends to wait until the morning to check the shelter, In the next scene, both Sumin and our boy are placed in their room. The soldier recommends sharing a watch duty every 2 hours, believing that it's unwise to trust strangers. It would be of their benefit to be cautious just in case. To that, Sung-hwan agrees and ushers the soldier to try and get some sleep first, because he isn't in the mood. Sumin is fine with that and requests to be woken up in 2 hours. A while passes and a realization looms over our protagonist. He doesn't feel the need to sleep. Not even one wink at first. It seems like a side effect of stress. But then he thinks that it must have something to do with his powers. Feeling bored, Sung-hoon decides to take a walk and quickly remembers about the night shift. So just to be cautious, bro draws on top of Sumin's eyelids, so that people think he's still wide awake anyway. He ventures out on his own and spots the same little girl from before. She tosses the ball in his direction, requesting him to pass it back. Though he understands the little girl's feelings, Zion-hoon thinks it's best for her to sleep. But the girl is stubborn and knows that he's going to leave tomorrow, giving into his soft spot for children. Our beloved protagonist agrees to play for 10 minutes. While playing, he learns about the 7-year-old's name. Myung is the same age as Mina, which makes Sung-hoon wonder if all three of them should play together. One day the girl is really excited to share a part of that game, and so their conversation continues for 10 minutes, even though Myung wants to play more. The responsible adult emphasizes that sleep is more important. He grabs her and decides to take her back to his mother. Surprisingly, Sung-hoon learns that the woman isn't actually Mi-young's mother. At all, come to think of it, she never treated her as her own daughter in front of him. So it makes sense that Mi-young is one of the rescued children. The poor girl pleads with Sung-hwan for a chance to sleep with him. Seeing him reminds her of her own father, and she wants to share that love. Her words are gut-wrenching and bring back a flash of memories in Sung-hwan's mind. Remember the night they slept together? Mina was messing around and said the same exact words. She was going to be an elementary student soon, and yet she still wanted to sleep next to her father. Her adorable and loving face reminds Sung-hwan of her so bad that he agrees with Mi-young's request, because in the next scene, both of them appear sleeping in his bed. The following morning, it's breakfast time. The food is generous, and the lady is responsible for serving it. Sumin learns that these guys grow vegetables of their own, and even gather some resources from mountains. It's thanks to the elderly that they've come this far. In fact, this entire group is mostly old people. The worrisome part is what they'll do in a situation of crisis, because they're so fragile, sitting down to eat their meal. The soldier reveals that there's going to be a head count soon, and it's likely that they'll find Mina among the group. Sung-hoon is filled with hope and agrees with the same. Right as he's about to thank Sumin for all of his efforts, a tragedy occurs. Sumin's face drops on the table as his bowl lays wasted on the ground. A look of terror looms in the atmosphere. The old geezers are staring him down like hawks. They'd planned for this and that kind lady. Turns out that this crazy bitch is the most psychotic of all. It's at this moment that Sung-hwan regrets not following the soldier's advice. Unfortunately, there's little he can do, as his own body succumbs to the effects of the food. In the end, our protagonist is knocked unconscious. In the next scene, he reopens his eyes to see an infected munching on a limb. Crazy infected turns around a dash right up to his face, but is only limited to the chain restraining her. Sung-hwan is pissed off, but I'm genuinely happy that our best boy, Sumin, is still alive. It's a good thing the infection can't reach them. Or at least not yet. The soldier highlights that they're in a terrible situation, but still salvageable. After all, if the elderly really wanted to take their lives, they could have done that already. Right now, their best shot is to wait and see what's going on. To his horror, Sung-hwan sees the lady coming out of the shadows, expressing that she was getting tired of the scheming old men, who didn't know what they're doing at all. Also, apparently, she's the psychotic mastermind, who's been waiting for the perfect chance to slaughter them all along. The soldier offers her a way out, promising to look over her crime, so long as she returns with them back to the base. However, the crazy bitch isn't convinced, highlighting that even the military prioritizes the rescue of children, at most without caring about anyone else. In fact, these miserable folks have already tried touching up with the military. She thinks it's a way better idea to negotiate with them and cooperate with their group. Sung-hwan is disappointed, and asks if her story regarding the rescued children was also a sham, to which she confirms that it's not a lie. Hearing this, he begs to ask for his daughter. The woman is stunned at first, before cracking into an amusing laughter, ridiculing Song-hoon for ever believing that farce, giving him a threatening look. The lady tells him that she's not gathering children, just to save their lives. When Song-hwan boldly asks about her real motivation, the lady brings up a story, or rather a theory regarding the young children's bodies being completely immune to the infected. Following that train of logic, the crazy bitch decided that if she could only feed young children to her daughter, then one day she'll turn back into a human. Yes, that chained girl feasting on a piece of meat is actually her restrained daughter. She looks at her with admiration, while Suman roars at her for being ridiculous and foolish. The lady doesn't really care, stating that it's only foolish in their eyes. But for someone like Song-hoon, the situation is quite similar. He too is desperate to save his daughter. And it crushes me to say this, our boy spots the same football from last night, the one he used to play with Myung. Dread denial and despair succumbs him in a flash of Myung's face, as he hesitantly asks, what became the fate of all the children in the shelter? In response, the crazy cult bitch expresses that she's just doing her job. By feeding her daughter, it's nothing more than a sacrifice. Her words make Song-hoon's body tremble, as he proceeds to ask a frightening question. What happened to Mung? The woman amusingly looks at him, highlighting that she didn't even know the girl's name, and also implying that she's already dead. Song-hoon's world shatters as he goes completely ballistic, screaming at the top of his lungs to break the chains. But before he can act, the psycho cult leader is quick on the draw and shoves a machete on his head, wearing a look of satisfaction. The horrific scene once again triggers a memory for Suman, who was complicit in helping Sergeant Lee Young-ho with all of his crimes. Every time the sergeant acted of his own volition, without reporting to the base, the sergeant scolded him for it. Even though Suman wanted the children to seek safety at the base, the sergeant howled against the suggestion every time, believing that it's a waste of everyone's time. All this time, Suman had to accept things just the way they were, following orders while the world fell into despair. He genuinely froze his own critical analysis of everything that happened. But it's almost like the same happened for his comrades. Every single one of them stopped thinking and simply followed orders. That is until the day arrived where Song-hwan infiltrated the base, raging in his quest to look for his lost daughter. At the time, the soldier felt that he needed to break free of this cycle of being a cog in a large machine. He didn't want to stay quiet and wanted to be just about the situation. That's why he testified on behalf of Song-hwan and supported his cause in front of the commander. In this manner, the soldier thought that maybe, after redeeming himself with his actions, he can finally find atonement for all of the things he blindly let happen. But in the end, this woman got the better of them and fooled them like a fiddle. The situation has truly turned into a disaster for him. By the way, at this point, she's already brought him outside and even offers Suman a chance to stay at the shelter, so long as he follows her orders. But all he could think about was his mistakes. The hypocrisy of having warned Song-hoon dozens of times to not trust a stranger, only to fall into a trap of eating food from them. The realization reduces him to complete dread, and he feels incredible guilt for his actions. As he begins to cry, the woman is shocked. To ridicule him even more, she brings an entire audience to laugh at him. While he's pitifully crying, Suman has already lost his mind and continues to apologize for his endless mistakes. While the cult leader takes great joy in his pathetic state, she smacks him around, reminding the guy to keep up with his previous tough act of a soldier. When she's done with him, she lets her old bastard stomp on him. But in the state he's in, Suman doesn't even register the pain anymore. All he's feeling is immense guilt while groveling in the dirt. At last he mentions Song-hoon's name, apologizing for wronging him so much. The man could have easily stopped the sergeant, and yet he didn't even report back to the base himself. The cultists are out here, thinking that the dude has probably completely shattered his mind, probably because of the situation he's in. The mention of Seong-wan's name causes his pile of bones to regenerate and maintain their form. By the way, I think it's implied that our boy's flesh was ripped apart right after he was struck with the machete, because this guy is literally regenerating straight out of nothing as he crawls his way like a rabid beast. Cultists are frightened for life, questioning what the fudge they're dealing with. The old man signals that it's a monster, so they do what they can do best and start shooting at him. The bullets pierce right through his body. But at this point, what good will they do? Sung-hoon's godlike regeneration is put up in full display before Sumin's eyes, who finally connects the dots. You see the infected man he shot down from a faraway distance. Back when it all started, it was actually him. And now he has become an unstoppable beast of madness, ready to kill anyone in his way so that he can save his daughter. But first he's going to slaughter every single one of them.